All right, guys, welcome back to our channel. Welcome back to more GR Corolla audio products. I got a bunch of little random bags and stuff in front of me over here. Today, we're going to go over our premium speaker installation kit. This is an installation kit. This is just the mounts and hardware and bracketry and gasketing and stuff. This does not include speakers. If you are interested in a complete set with speakers, check out our other video that has all of our plug and play speaker kits. So everything's ready to go right out of the box. All you have to do is plug it in. But if you're the type of person that is set on a specific brand of speakers, say you're a JL Audio guy or you're an Audison guy, you can buy those speakers and we can supply you with all the parts that you'll need to install that in your vehicle. Why is our kit premium? Because we give you everything that you're going to need. There are certain parts and certain things that you're just not going to be able to get online, especially if you have a JBL equipped Corolla. There are things that just aren't going to be available, but they are through us. If you have a non-JBL Corolla, it'll be a lot easier. You can get most of the stuff. We just give you things that are going to make your installation a better install and an easier install. So if you bought speakers online, say if you bought it from Crutchfield, usually they just throw in some mounts and adapters for you. If you didn't, then you got to buy your own online, Amazon or whatnot. Normally what you would get is a thin plastic bracket like this. I don't know, it's maybe an 1/8 inch thick plastic. It's nothing super strong. It's pretty flimsy. A lot of times they are universal for certain vehicles, so you're going to break off some tabs and whatnot. It works. It'll definitely do the job, but it's not our level of what we offer. So you'll get something like that, and then you'll have a wire harness adapter, which again is perfect. You don't have to cut your harness. You plug this into the factory plug, plug your speaker in your door, and you're done. So again, it'll work. There's nothing wrong with it. We just want to give you a better kit. So our kit is going to give you a solid 3D printed bracket. There's no thin plastic on here. It's ABS and it's solid. There's no gaps or anything like how those other ones are. It is foamed as well on the back. So we have a gasket that's going to seal to the door. That's going to help eliminate some rattle. The thin plastic stuff tends to vibrate a little bit. This is going to be a lot more solid. Plus that foam gasket is going to make this as solid as possible to mount in your vehicle. Seal it to the door and eliminate any plastic on metal rattle. Our connector is pressed into our mount. So it's 3D printed and we press our connector in. This is in the exact orientation that it is in the Corolla. So when you put your speaker in, you bolt this to the door, your factory plug plugs right in. You're done. You don't have a dangling pigtail anywhere. It's a lot cleaner. It's a lot nicer. You also get these foam gaskets here. These foam gaskets are designed to go on the top of the speaker. So basically this right here. This is our 6.5 inch mid-bass driver for our plug-and-play speaker kit. This is exactly how it comes right out of the box. So if you did our own speaker kit, you'll literally just unscrew your factory speaker, screw this guy on, plug it in, and you're done. But again, if you got your own speakers, we'll show you the hardware, the installation. This gasket goes along the front of the speaker. What this gasket is for, it's to couple the door panel to the speaker and keep all of that energy from this speaker passing through the grill rather than bleeding into the door. You're going to get better sound. It's also going to help eliminate a little bit of vibration and rattle from the door panel because now the door panel is cushioned here versus just kind of floating. The factory speaker, which is basically this guy here, has this little orange foam strip, which is technically all you really need to seal this speaker to the door panel. But we just use a thicker closed cell foam gasket that's going to help cushion it even more and help keep that sound passing through that grill. So we want to take our hardware and our mounts and make it as OEM fitting and OEM performing as possible. So our connector is in the right orientation. We have gasketing on the front to help that sound pass through the grill and door panel. We have gasketing on the back so that it seals to the door. You also get sound dampening squares for each speaker. So these squares are designed to be installed in the door behind the speaker. So When you take your speaker out, you're going to have a hole in your door. When you look through that hole, that inside area is where this dampening material will go. So this goes in the door and your speaker bolts back on. And what this does is it's going to help add some mass to that area directly behind the speaker, which helps eliminate some resonance on the door because it's just thin metal and it tends to vibrate and flex when your speaker plays, especially if you're trying to play a lot of bass from this speaker. So this is going to help add some mass to that metal and stop it from flexing as much. This is also going to help eliminate a lot of that energy reflecting back. So all the energy that comes out of the back of this speaker is going to go directly back into that door, into that metal. This material is going to help absorb that and stop all the energy from bouncing back, which in turn is just going to create better sound because you'll have less resonance, less vibration, less rattle. The material that we give you is a multi-layer material. It's not your standard sound dampening material that's just like a butyl tar-like backing with a metal top. This is butyl, aluminum, and foam. So that foam layer is what's going to eat up all that energy and help absorb that and just give you better sound. So you'll get that included with your kit. What you also get with our kit that you won't get anywhere else would be the mounts for either the JBL equipped Corolla, the mounts for your mid-range, or the non-JBL Corolla mounts for your tweeters. So the way that we would do it is you get in contact with us, let us know that you are interested in a speaker kit, and let us know what speakers you're purchasing. And from there, we will 3D print the mount specifically for your mid-range or tweeters. So if you say, hey, I'm going to buy a set of Audison Prima 6.5-inch component set, 3 ways, cool. We'll print this mount specifically for that Audison mid-range. If you're doing a 2-way, we'll print that mount specific for the Audison tweeter. So you'll have something made specifically for the speakers that you're purchasing. You can buy a mount similar to this on like Amazon, but they're usually designed for a tweeter. So the hole won't be big enough for a mid-range for sure. It's not going to be the right size. Depending on the tweeter that you buy, it may work for your tweeter, but chances are probably not. So we will get you the appropriate mounts for that mid-range or that tweeter. And then in the end, you'll end up with something similar to this with your tweeter or your mid-range. That's kind of the bulk of what you would get with our kit versus just your standard installation hardware, which again, you'll get this. And that's all you'll get to install your kit versus everything else that you see here. So your mid-bass brackets, your gasket to couple your mid-bass to your door panel. Our mounts are foamed on the back so we can seal that to the door. Sound dampening for the back of the speaker to help eat up some of that energy. Mounts for mid-range or tweeter. Connectors for that dash speaker, whether it be a mid-range or a tweeter. Machine screws for your mounts. Again, our mounts are 3D printed and we use heat press inserts for our screws. So it's like a metal insert that we press into our 3D printed mounts that allows us to use machine screws. So you have a much better grip on your screw. It's better serviceable. You're not just taking a screw and ramming it into plastic. It's going to be a lot more solid grab and mount for your speaker. And then what we also include is some foam pads. So these foam pads here are going to be for your dash speaker. So our door speaker, the mount or the connector is pressed in, so we don't have to worry about any dangly pigtail. But in the dash, you're going to have a pigtail that will dangle. So what we do is, this is going to be your connector for your dash speaker. Mid-range or tweeter would just be dependent. You're going to plug this in, and then you'll end up with something like this. This plastic is going to rattle around in your dash and rattle on the plastic in your dash. So we include these foam pads. It's got adhesive on the back. You just peel the backing off, and then you wrap this around your connector so that you have some insulation on that plastic connector so it's not rattling, vibrating around in your dash. So again, it's just a lot of little things that we give you to make your install a little bit more premium. just to give you every bit, every chance that you have to make your speakers perform as good as possible in those locations. Because no matter what you buy, you could buy the most expensive speakers in the world, but if they're not installed properly and they're not using the proper hardware, they're not going to sound great. So you want to put in that same investment into your installation as you are into the speakers themselves. So we can get a little top-down view on some of the other things here and give you a closer look on exactly what they are, the differences between our mounts and the stuff that you'll get online, and some of the other things that you'll get with our kit. All right, so now that we got you to our top down, we will take a look at some of these parts. So first and foremost would be our 3D printed 6.5-inch mid-bass mount. So it is 3D printed out of ABS. We do see our heat press inserts in here, so we can use those machine screws instead of just taking a screw and ramming it into the plastic. Our connector is pressed in. Our wires are pre-terminated, so all you gotta do is plug your speaker in. We do have our foam gasket on the back, so super easy for you, ready to go. It'll bolt exactly with factory hardware as far as mounting this to the door. Everything is ready to go. So if you were just doing a front or rear kit, you'll get 2 of these mounts. If you did a complete kit, you'll get 4. You also get the gasket strips. So these guys here, just break that away. So again, this is the gasket strip that you will use to go around your speaker, basically to produce something like this. So you'll get 1 of these for each mid-bass driver. You also get your sound dampening square, hardware. So these are the machine screws to mount your speaker to your mount. So that is also included in there. And then your sound dampening square. So again, this is that sound dampening material that you would install in your door behind that speaker. So you'll get 1 of these for each mid-bass driver as well. Moving on from there to our dash speakers, if you have the JBL equipped Corolla, then you will be getting 2 mounts for your mid-ranges. So again, reach out to us, let us know what speaker set you're purchasing, and we can help you out as well. If you're, again, if you don't want Morel for some reason and you want JL or Audison or whatnot, reach out to us, let us know. If you're not sure, let us know what speakers you're looking at and we can help point you in the right direction. From there, we will custom print the mount for your speaker. So whatever you're buying, as long as we get the dimensions, we can print that mount for your mid-ranges. So you get 2 of these mid-range mounts. They also have heat press inserts, and then you'll get the hardware to mount those speakers in as well. You get your connectors. So these are going to be your connectors for your dash speaker, so the mid-range. You'll get 2 of these. You get the foam pads, again, to wrap around these connectors so that it'll stop this from flapping around in your dash and rattling. You'll get those. That's if you have JBL. If you do not have JBL, then what you'll get instead are these tweeter mounts. So you'll get mounts similar to these. Again, it is going to be dependent on the tweeters that you purchase. Certain ones, we can print them so that it has a cup already built into the tweeter mount so that your tweeter just pops right in there. The way that the non-JBL Corollas are designed with the tweeter in mind, your grill on the top of the dash pops off. The tweeter is pressed into that grill. So you don't really want to take an aftermarket tweeter and try to pop it back in there because 99% of the tweeters out there are just not going to drop into that. I don't even think there's anything out there that will just drop right in and stay in place. A lot of times they require some kind of adhesive or something somewhere to make it fit into that grill. If you use any kind of adhesive, it's probably going to fall out because that grill sits on top of your dash like this, and that tweeter is pushed up into it. So it's at the top of the dash where it gets exposed to the most sun. So as time goes on, that adhesive is going to heat up and cool down, heat up and cool down. It may even melt to the point where it just pops right off, or it'll get brittle and the tweeter will just fall right out, which you don't want to happen. So the Corolla dash, whether it's JBL or non-JBL, is all set up the same. It all has that same locations to mount a speaker into the dash. The only thing that the non-JBL Corolla does not have is the hardware in place to mount something like this in there, but we include that. So for you non-JBL Corolla owners, you're gonna get something like this. You're gonna get a 10 mil bolt and you're gonna get a 10 millimeter speed clip. So this is exactly how it is done from the factory. They have a metal speed clip like this that's slid into the dash, and then the 10 millimeter bolt goes in and then it bolts it down. So this is going to be what you would use to mount something like this for your tweeter. So again, we want to give you the best kit possible. We want to give you everything that you need so that you can install your speakers properly and not have to rig things up. So that is what you would get if you have a non-JBL Corolla. As far as the JBL Corollas are concerned, when it comes to the tweeters, those are also pressed into the A-pillar, but we can do it a little differently in the A-pillars situation. So the factory tweeter pops out, which is basically this guy here. This is the factory tweeter. So this pops out of the A-pillar, and then you got to pop your new tweeter in there. Not all tweeters are going to fit because all tweeters are different diameters. Not all of them may fit in that location. They may be too big or too small. One of the reasons why we use the Morel Maximos is they are the perfect size to fit in there without sliding around or popping around or whatnot. So you basically got to take what this is and make a tweeter fit in there. So you can take your tweeter, if it's the right size, it'll fit into that opening, but there's nothing there to stop it from falling back out. Again, some people will glue it in or do some weird things, tape or whatnot. We don't want you to do that. So what we include are these metal clips that we made. So these metal clips here will slip into the A-pillar. There's a gap between the grill and the A-pillar itself. This will slip in there, and then this will hold the tweeter in place. So if this was your tweeter slides into that opening in the A-pillar, so basically like this, but there's nothing that stops it from falling back out. So this guy here will slip into that grill and lock it in place so that it holds that tweeter in from backing back out. What we also give you are some foam pads with adhesive on the back. And what you'll do is you'll stick those guys to the back of the tweeter. Depending on your tweeter, on how thick it is, you're going to want to use that foam. It's also going to help cushion this metal bracket from sitting directly on the tweeter. So you'll add that foam on there. If your tweeter is too skinny, you can add a second piece of foam, and that'll just help cushion that and hold that tweeter in place from falling out. So that is another thing that you'll get for the JBL equipped Corollas, something that you will need if you don't want to do weird things to rig it up. The last thing that you're going to get JBL Corolla for your tweeters are these connectors. So from 23 and up, Toyota changed the connector for the A-pillar tweeter. They changed it to this style connector. It's not a very common connector. They don't use them in all of their vehicles. They only started using them in 22. There are some places that sell these. They're not very common. I have seen them range anywhere from $30 to $80 a pair just for this connector. So we make this connector included in your hardware. This will plug in. We have pre-crimped bullet connectors on one end. We also include the other bullet connectors for you to crimp to your tweeters. So depending on what you purchased, you'll be able to take these, crimp them to your new tweeter or the wire that comes with your tweeter, and then you'll be able to plug this in here. So you're not going to have to find your own connectors or try to use what comes with your speaker kit because it's not going to match up with this. We give you all the matching connectors. So all you got to do is just crimp that to your tweeter, plug it in, and you're done. And then you also get the foam pads to wrap around this connector in the A-pillar as well, so this guy isn't dangling around and making noise. So that is everything that you get with our kit, as opposed to what you would get if you just purchased your own stuff online. Again, you would get a thin adapter like this. You would get some adapter harnesses. The things that you probably will not be able to find would be the tweeter connector, your mid-range adapter, a tweeter adapter, and the hardware to make your life easier. And then we also include all of the premium things, the gasketing, dampening material, the foam pads, more foam pads, gasketing on the back of your mounts, super solid mount, machine screws. So we give you everything that you'll need to install this in your Corolla, to install your speakers in your Corolla. So we'll get you back on the video and get you the rest of that information. We'll send you on your way. Okay, so now that you've watched that top-down video, just briefly we'll go over pricing. So the complete kit, front and rear, whether or not it's a two-way or three-way, so sorry, whether it's JBL or non-JBL, your complete kit is $150. If you want to just break it up and you're just going to do front speakers, the complete front kit is $95. The complete rear kit is $65. So it does get a little cheaper if you buy the complete kit. You save about $10. It's not a lot, but you do save a little bit of money if you buy the complete kit. As far as purchasing or any other questions, you can either drop us a comment here or send us a message on our email, which is linked in the description. That's going to be the best way to purchase any products right now. We are still finishing our website. I know we've been saying that for a while, but we are doing the website ourselves. So we're making products, we're putting kits together, we're filling orders, we're packing things, as well as running our retail shop. So the website kind of got pushed back on the back burner. But doing our videos this way is going to give you the best information anyway, visual and audio. So we're going to be doing this for now until we get our website done. But again, if you want to purchase a product, or if you have any questions, drop a comment or send us a message on our email and we will get with you guys and get you all squared away. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.